Today's episode, our new rig for Dodge Trucking, and what was wrong with it right off the factory floor, which trucks are actually cheaper to fix, and where's driver comfort not just a sales pitch in a brochure. The customer replaced the cab after a wreck, but this truck keeps throwing surprises. Why do we go for a road test after every alignment? And at the end, we'll show you our new shop. You gotta see this. No polish, no filters, just the real deal. Let's roll.
Hey friends, what's up? Vadim here from Atlas Truck Center, and today we've got podcast number 2. Today we're gonna talk about the issues we ran into this week. There were quite a few interesting cases. First off, a big thanks for all the feedback on my first podcast. A lot of you said I should put a little cat on camera. Well, right now I've got a bear in my cup. All right, let's get started. Let's check out what went down this week. Let's go. By the way, this week I finally picked up another truck for myself. I've bought very few trucks on credit, and it's been a while since I got one. Now I grabbed another Freightliner. Why did I go with a Freightliner? A lot of you started commenting that Freightliners are the worst trucks out there. But if you look at the history, you'll see that Freightliner is one of the most popular trucks in North America, Class 8. Honestly, it's probably the most common in our shop too. Sure, there are shops that focus only on Volvos or some that deal only with Peterbilts. Most of my clients drive Freightliners, and they're making the right choice. I did the same and picked up another Freightliner. The cost of parts is about 4 times cheaper, especially body part, compared to Peterbilt. Every shop basically knows how to fix them. At worst, you can even find a lot of parts at salvage yards if something needs a quick fix on the road. And again, when it comes to reliability, I can say with 100% confidence that Freightliner is the most reliable truck out there, because that's exactly what my team and I do every day. We fix them and see what actually breaks. If you maintain your truck on schedule, following the proper guidelines, not some plan a dealer gives you just to keep it running for 500,000 miles, you'll know it holds up. The schedule I'm talking about is the one all real techs understand. You don't change the oil every 75,000 miles, you change it every 30,000 and use synthetic. And only use genuine parts.
Dodge Trucking's fleet is getting an upgrade. I'm completely done with Kenworths. From now on, only Freightliners. Seriously, I'm fed up. Those Kenworths I have sitting there, some bought, some being bought out from leases, some just leased. I pay every month, screw those Kenworths. Even with my own shop, I hate them. I don't want to use them anymore. I don't. Kenworths are trash, along with Peterbilt. There's another truck over there, $1,700 just for an LED headlight. 1, 2, bumper, $1,500? Damn, and if you wreck the hood, that'll cost a fortune. Only Freightliners.
I highly recommend installing the X-Guard, the 3rd generation model. There's a heavy-duty version too. It costs a bit more, sits a little higher, and has a torsion bar. It's super handy, so nothing ever falls on anyone's head down the road. A lot of you know the X-Guard is heavy as hell. If you mess with it or open it carelessly, it can seriously hurt, even kill you. The new version is really interesting. Like I've said multiple times already, the cost of filters for a Freightliner is definitely cheaper as a set compared to Peterbilt, Kenworth or Packard. But of course, Volvos will be a little bit cheaper. Honestly, my top trucks list goes like this. Number 1, of course, is Freightliner. Next up is Volvo, and that's pretty much where the list ends. Again, if you're just an owner-operator with one truck, like in my previous video, 579 Peterbilt hit 650,000 miles, and honestly, nothing major has really broken on it. Of course, by that mileage, the entire suspension isn't fully intact anymore. That's about $7,000 if you replace everything with genuine parts. Also swapped the Eaton clutch with the actuator and replaced the crank seal, and even changed the turbo actuator. Yeah, just the usual weak spots that start showing up around that kind of mileage. Guys, did you even know how much a radiator, AC condenser, or the so-called evaporator inside the heater box costs? It's over $1,000. For a Freightliner, it's about 3 times cheaper. So yeah, guys, maybe I used to love Peterbilts and Kenworths too, but that was before we started fixing them. And just to remind you, we opened our shop only because we had a ton of our own Kenworths, especially those Packard ones.
Even a brand new Freightliner isn't always perfect. We bought a truck straight from the factory, and within the first 100 miles, there was play in the kingpins. So guys, always check your truck, even if it's new. It's not just about quality, it's about your safety.
Guys, this truck's got only 100 miles on it. It's my new one, unit number 1002. Unfortunately, right from the factory, it already came with play in the kingpins. So we tore it apart, and now we're doing the adjustment. I show what it looked like and how bad it was shaking. That's not how it's supposed to be. When the wheel was still on and we shook it, man, it looked bad, especially considering it's got brand new Michelins on it. So guys, keep that in mind. When you're buying a new truck, there's no guarantee everything was put together right at the factory. Always double check.
All right, since we've already started talking about trucks and their manufacturers, honestly, one of the biggest advantages of Packard trucks, especially the EPA 21 generation that's from 2022 and up, is their fuel efficiency. That's really the main advantage, probably the only one. And if you compare trucks with around 500,000 miles, that fuel savings is pretty much the only thing that makes up for all the repair costs. That is, of course, if you've never wrecked a Kenworth. An original bumper assembly costs $6,000. On a Freightliner, about 1,000. Volvo's a little more expensive than Freightliner, but still reasonable. Body parts, same story. The prices are just insane. If you've ever dealt with repairs, replacing panels on a Kenworth or a Peterbilt costs a fortune. It's like those parts are made out of gold. When it comes to truck comfort, honestly, Kenworth, probably because of its different design, though basically they're all the same, even the suspension uses Meritor parts, feels more comfortable to drive. It's kind of like a 140 Mercedes, big and smooth. Whereas a Freightliner 126 Cascadia, I'd compare that more to a Volkswagen Golf. Volvo, yeah, I've driven a lot of them back when I was behind the wheel. They're even more comfortable, even smoother, but that's just because of the slightly different way the cab is mounted to the frame. Sometimes in strong crosswinds, it feels like the Volvo is about to tip over, but really it's just the cab tilting. Guys, just a reminder, this is kind of impromptu for me. I've never done videos like this before, and honestly, probably never made anything this big in my life. But they're getting a good response, and I know a lot of you are interested. As always, don't forget to drop a comment, hit that like button, and of course, subscribe. Anyway, folks, I need your feedback on how we're doing this. Maybe some of our colleagues who've been doing podcasts for a while can tell me what I'm doing wrong. But let's keep going. Let's share something interesting about what actually happened this week. One of our advantages, I think, is that almost every employee has a CDL. And after any major heavy repairs, we always do road tests, especially after an alignment. Sometimes my colleagues get nervous about an alignment and ask me to take it for a spin myself.
At our shop, we always take a comprehensive approach to repairs. After major work, we do a full alignment and then hit the road for a test drive. Our guys were worried something was off with this truck. Turns out it's got new soft Yokohama tires, which feel a bit floaty.
These are soft Yokohama tires. Sometimes it feels like they don't grip the road. They're just really soft, tall, and it feels like the truck is floating. And yeah, it really does float. Brand new tall tires. It's riding on Yokohama 101 ZL. Although, as we found out from some codes, it says made in Japan, but it's actually not. GPT told one of my clients that, but either way, they still get used. Everything's fine here, rides smooth, all good.
The road test, especially after a head replacement, lasts almost 3 hours. We cover almost 200 miles on your truck. We do all this for your convenience and to give a 100% guarantee that our work is done right. Also, guys, there was a really interesting story with a truck that came in after its cab had been replaced. The team that put this truck together did a good job overall, but they couldn't figure out the electrical system. Let's check out what exactly happened in this video.
The point is, this truck, you can see someone's already been messing with it. And that's the problem. They just slapped things in, but apparently didn't redo any of the wiring. The dash cam? Clearly, there isn't even one here. Where's the dash cam? Yeah, not great. And that was while it was hot too. We'll do it again now. Unfortunately, besides having electrical issues, these guys also swapped the cap. And on top of that, there are some questions about the engine, like the compression. Let's try programming this now. We continue and work on this truck, which I think we've shown in previous videos, the one where the client got into some kind of accident and had to replace the cab. The engine frame and transmission stayed from the old truck, only the cab is new. Looks like they rewired everything, but unfortunately their electrician couldn't figure out the problem. We all dug into it a bit, and our guy Yura found the issue. It was the steering position sensor. Here's its part number.
Everything's gonna be fine. I won't get stuck on the road,
You'll
right?
feel it. No, you'll definitely feel it. It doesn't just die out like that. That only happens if there's serious wear, like 20-30% degradation, then there's a chance the valve could break. But right now, it's just the beginning.
Are you gonna finish up the engine
You'll notice
now?
it when the compression starts dropping. You'll hear it making a choo-choo-choo sound. We're not confident that everything's done correctly here, so we have to completely overhaul the truck. Then we'll know for sure. It's great when you have the original diagnostics with programming capabilities. To rule out any issues caused by software bugs, the first thing you need to do is update the software. All right, so at this point, the only complaints are with the active cruise control and the key not working. Just a few minor things left to take care of.
The guys did a pretty decent job putting this truck together and swapping the cab, but unfortunately they couldn't figure out the electrical system. Although, why say unfortunately? Luckily, we have work to do. But we had to dig in quite a bit, swapping the gateway that didn't fit this truck because the model years were different. After a while, we finally tracked it down. Just a reminder, I worked as an electrician at the BMW dealer for 5 years. Using the CAN bus, we found the module that was taking down the whole system. It was on the chassis CAN bus because the steering position sensor was stuck. More precisely, there was a bug in it that was disrupting the entire data bus. We fixed it, installed a new sensor, replaced the flock spring, and basically the buttons on the steering wheel started working on this truck. There were also issues with the AC, but they handled all of that themselves. I really don't like trucks like this because you never know what they've been put together from and they expect it to just work. But in this case, luckily we managed to get it all running, so go ahead and drop a like for that. This week we also replaced a few clutches. One of them even required removing the one box and replacing all the gaskets because the clutch just wouldn't come out otherwise. By the way, it's pretty common that a 430 clutch is hard to find. For some reason it wasn't anywhere and we even had to get it from resellers for $2,500, though the client handled that part themselves. All right, let's take a look at what was inside.
You never think that a simple clutch replacement could turn into a full-on quest, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to us this week. A truck rolls in, standard job, everything according to plan. But as it turns out, not so fast. The transmission won't come out, the frame's in the way. What do? We decide to remove the entire one box. Extra work, labor-intensive, but there's no other way. Now imagine this. The clutch you need is impossible to find. Physically, nowhere to be found. The client had to track it down themselves, buying it from resellers for $2,500. Not cheap, to say the least. See, what seems like a routine job can turn into a serious, unusual repair. Why mention this? Because it's in these little details that the real side of our work shows when you're not just installing a new part, but finding a solution when everything's stacked against you. Guys, we want to remind you that our shop is moving very soon. And to make sure you're the first to see where, let's take a look at our new place from a bird's eye view.
Guys, check this out. We're flying the drone around our shop to show how it looks. The shop itself is fully built. The only things left are landscaping. Trees are already being planted. We're also probably waiting until next week for all the paving to be done. Of course, it takes quite a bit of time to prepare the site for asphalt. All the concrete work is already finished. All right, we've climbed up to about 500 meters. Let's take a look at how everything looks from above. Also, guys, let's take a look at the landscaping. I have no idea why, according to the plan, we didn't even check with our builders which parts would be concrete and which would be asphalt. Right now, we can see that all the lighting is installed. On the railroad side, we don't have a fence. That's definitely something to think about. And for some reason, we're only starting to consider it now. And we've got at least 3 ponds on the property. Right now, we're approaching a bridge that's 12 feet high. If anyone tries to go that way, unfortunately, they'll have to turn back to our shop for repairs and roof replacement. But don't worry, we can handle that for you without any problem. Right now, we're approaching gate number 2. This will be the entrance, the side that leads toward that dead end. It's wide enough for trucks to get in and out. We'll also be installing a special gate slot there. You can also see that extra lighting has been installed on the power poles. Next time, we'll definitely film how it looks at night. I've already been there after dark, and the lighting is gonna be really good. For security, we're launching a drone that costs almost $20,000, a guard drone that will patrol our lot. And very soon, we'll announce the pricing for parking spaces. Stay tuned for our next updates. And here we can see what my car looks like. If you spot a wrapped Tesla, that's me inside because no one else drives this Cybertruck. We're slowly wrapping things up and finishing this podcast. Of course, sometime in the future, we'll probably have someone join us here to share some interesting stories. I even have a few people in mind that I'd love to invite. And as always, do not break far from our shop. See you next time. Bye-bye. У каждого из сотрудников почти, да, есть CDL, да. Ну, спиздил только что, да, почти у каждого. Если у нас какого-то количества сотрудников сидел, и после каких-то серьезных тяжелых ремонтов мы обязательно делаем роуд-тест. Давайте посмотрим, как я это делаю. Кристина! Майя, пожалуйста, у нас съемка. Это, можешь такую штуку туда вставить, там, few hours later, да?
2 hours later.
В общем, дубль номер 55. Вы занимались этим траком, подытожим, да? Да ёб твою, дрить налево, блин, ну, все? Снимаем дальше? Или там что-то еще происходит? Сейчас. Друзья, мы уже начали отмечать, и мы вдруг забыли о том, что у нас есть новое видео по поводу нашего нового шапа. Лена, сейчас надо будет видео